Ladies and gentlemen, this is Steve Eyes. You're on the EyesIsWatchin channel. As many of you know, Klaus Schwab, head reptile at the WEF, was under investigation, and it was found that, surprise, surprise, the guy who's been lecturing us about transparency and accountability was a total creep behind the scenes. We're talking about luxury perks, blurred expenses, and sexual harassment, wearing suits on stage and bikinis backstage. That's right, as many of you know. Remember this photo? Yeah, I know. How can you forget? But of course, after the investigation was over, the official story they give us is that there was no wrongdoing at all. Okay, what a shocker. I mean, the guy who dresses like he's at a satanic temple, this reptilian has been cleared by his own club. But even though this benevolent Klaus Schwab was found to do no wrong after the investigation, the WEF decided to take the noble approach and replaced him with someone far more trustworthy. The CEO of BlackRock, Larry Fink. How hilarious is that? Just when you thought they couldn't possibly find a more reptilian vampire to sit on the throne, in slithers the king of BlackRock himself. This guy isn't just buying up Britain piece by piece, buying up farmland, banks, bonds, and even Gatwick Airport. The vampire is now officially sinking his fangs into Mexico too. The same dude who just recently said that behaviors are going to be forced to change since people aren't willingly complying to total slavery. Weird, right? Almost identical to Oracle's CEO bragging about how citizens will be on their best behavior soon. That's not a coincidence, people. These people are operating under the same script. These demons are all reading from the same playbook, the 2030 agenda. The plan is a global techno-police state where you'll own nothing, eat bugs, live in concrete cages, scan your face to travel, and be monitored like cattle 24/7. And they don't just hint at it, their own words and actions confirm it 100%. Why do you think Larry Fink met privately with Keir Starmer months before all of this, behind closed doors? Now suddenly UK assets are declared undervalued, and BlackRock goes on a shopping spree buying up the UK, and Starmer is getting showered with praise from the global finance cartel. Not hard to connect the dots here. This is an investment. Okay, it's a takeover, a handover of entire nations to the parasitic elite that want to micromanage every detail of your existence, from your bank account down to your daily behavior. Britain didn't vote for it. Mexico didn't vote for it. I mean, nobody did. But yet here we are, BlackRock and Vanguard owning everything, as predicted. And if you think this all ends with Klaus Schwab and Larry Fink carving up airports and farmland, you're missing the bigger picture. What they dress up as technocracy, they've been talking about this for decades, that's just a psyop label. If you strip it down, it's the same old dream they've always had, global communism, only this time managed by AI. This wasn't invented yesterday either. It traces back to Columbia University almost a century ago, where a group of engineers said capitalism and democracy were obsolete. Forget free markets. They argued that society should be run like a machine, with scientists and bankers dictating your energy rations, your food allowance, and your travel rights. That blueprint never ended. It just got recycled under shiny slogans like climate action and sustainable development. But what technocracy really is, if you strip away all the BS, it's just a bigger Zionist project, okay? This is basically the Greater Israel Project worldwide. Rabbi Michael Higger wrote openly about this nearly a century ago, calling communism, democracy, and even technocracy mere tools on the road to what he described as a Jewish utopia. That's right, people, a global dictatorship with Jerusalem at the capital, run under Talmudic supremacy. In that system, the few remaining non-Jews would be bound by Noahide law, with decapitation literally written in as the punishment for disobedience. Technocracy is Zionism. AI, crypto, big tech, transhumanism, these aren't random innovations. They're weapons being used to usher in their so-called golden age, in quotes. And their third temple will be digital. They've already restarted the rituals. July 2025, a pure red heifer was quietly sacrificed. They tried to cover it with a talk of a practice ritual. They said it was just a practice ritual, nothing to see here, using a disqualified calf too. But insiders bragged that the real sacrifice still went through behind the scenes. Ashes are already sprinkled in preparation for their temple. That's not a conspiracy either. That's straight out of their own announcements. And the timing is straight up eerie here because the same week the news leaked about a red heifer burned alive as an offering. Laura Loomer is online posting pictures petting cows, saying cows are just like big dogs. Is that a mockery or some kind of Talmudic symbolism? Maybe both. But one thing is clear, the sacrifice was the signal. They're telling the world the new system is live. They're going full speed ahead with this global communism under AI rule with Zionist supremacists at the top. Their words, their actions, and their rituals all confirm the same thing. We are in the end game of their 2030 plan.
Media outrage has been so astronomical about it. But the red heifer people, they fooled everybody. And they successfully performed the ritual about a month ago. Now, in the ritual, you're supposed to have hyssop. I have also hyssop that is from the actual ritual, and also the red heifer ashes. And these get put into a clay jar and then sprinkled on people in a healing ritual. And it removes the impurity of death and allows for people to heal. So since this started, they have been sprinkling on people. There was a man with Alzheimer's who just started remembering everything, sight to the blind. There's some real miracles that have happened in the last month since this thing has gone down.
Yeah, you trust the tiny hat guy right here, right? Yeah, sure, buddy.
But the ashes, just like I have a little bag, there was 10.5 gallons of
This Jew is lying. That's just cocaine.
ashes. And this is only a dime bag full. And these ashes have been disseminated. They're here to stay. They will never be found. So many people have them. And this little bag can power about 10,000 doses.
Power about, it said that
Okay, something really unusual is taking place here. It's almost like he's speaking in doublespeak. He is trying to imply something without actually saying it. Someone said they're about to sell these ashes to fake Christians for 1 million shekels a bag. I really think that's hilarious because only someone that's extremely dumb and indoctrinated would believe something this insane. But just look at what's on the table now. Digital IDs, CBDCs, and carbon trackers. Central banks aren't even hiding it anymore. They're openly bragging about programmable money, welfare payments that expire if you don't use them, coupons that only work for approved goods, food stamps coded to block you from buying steak. This is digital slavery, and this is what they've been planning for decades. And now it's full speed ahead, especially after this burning of a red heifer. Christine Lagarde herself admitted that central banks will have absolute control over the rules and the technology to enforce them. A system in which your entire life can be switched off because you said the wrong thing, or ate the wrong food, or traveled too far. And while they roll out the money grid, they're hardwiring the surveillance grid to back it up. Former Silicon Valley insider Amin Jabi spells it out here. Facial recognition built into every phone, smart meters in every home, Alexa recording every word, cars tracked 24/7, LED smart poles forming invisible fences around cities. It's geofencing with digital ID access points. Step outside your carbon allowance and your currency gets turned off. Add in zero trust, end quote, cybersecurity systems where everything is locked until you prove your identity. And suddenly you're living in an open air prison. You can move, but only within the walls they set. Right now it is all under the system of age verification. A lot of people have been posting about this, saying, why is every single platform now doing this at the same time? You telling me there isn't an agenda here? Age verification for UK and EU users, as required by your laws, is starting to go online now. And yes, you'll have the voluntary option to ID verify instead of selfie for those who are wondering about looking too young. My TikTok account got deleted because their AI thought I was 13 years old. I had to verify with an ID plus selfie to save my account. This is the problem with AI age verification. I'm 28 years old, by the way. Notice what they're doing here? Years ago, Klaus Schwab did say this. The WEF had articles on their website talking about how one day digital ID will be mandatory because age verification will be required in order to access the internet to prevent child porn. And now every single social media app and every platform, mind you, is going along with this insane agenda here. I mean, even Spotify, people are asked to prove their age with Spotify or they can't use it. And they have to submit their digital ID, a biometric scan, and a credit card to prove their identity. Let me guess, they're going to actually start judging you or prosecuting people for anti-Semitism based on the music they listen to. I mean, if you listen to that new Kanye West, you got to go to Gitmo, baby. I mean, you can't be singing Hail Hitler out here. Now we know what's going on. It's like the PSYOP is all coming together. Someone said TikTok has begun rolling out age verification in the US for users the system believes are underage. They'll be required to submit a credit card or ID along with selfies to access the app. Someone else said Spotify did this at the exact same time. Do you not see what is taking place here? Breaking news. There's reports that Google search is starting to force age verification. If YouTube asks you to verify, this suggests if YouTube flags you, your entire Google account gets flagged. This is crazy. Someone said, yes, it happened to me a while back. My Google account was made in 2004, so my account is 21 years old. And Google said you must confirm your birthday to keep using your account. Klaus Schwab in the WEF said years back this will be done, a digital ID biometric scan in order to prevent child porn. And if you're against it, well, then you must be for child porn. They said this word for word, articles posted on their website, and now it's happening, folks. This one puts it really well here.
It's time to wake the hell up. The government is quietly rolling out age verification laws across the country. The real goal? Digital ID. A centralized system that tracks everything you do, everything you say. Did you not support The Voice? That's logged. Do you criticize mass immigration? That's flagged. Do you question government policy? That's monitored. Do you share content that the establishment doesn't like? That's recorded. Agree with climate mandates? Fantastic. Disagree? You will be punished. Just like we saw in Canada with the truckers' protest. They took away their banking, they took away their right to their own money with digital ID. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is the future that they're planning out. We're seeing it across the UK, Germany, France, all across Europe. These implementations of digital ID are taking hold and silencing their citizens. Right now in the UK, there is a massive protest for demigration happening, and no one knows about it. Because you speak up, you either get put in jail or your content gets taken down. And who's cheering this on? It's the classic Australian haters. The same radicals who absolutely despise everything about this country. Our values, our Western beliefs. Call us evil. Make us ashamed. Fill us with guilt. The ones who want to burn down this country and rebuild it in their own image. And even worse, the conformist sheep who do whatever the government say. The classic loyalists who love their Labour and Liberal like they can do no wrong. They believe the government is always right, no matter how deep they want to push us into debt, no matter how bad the cost of living crisis is.
Well said. And then comes the war on food too, as well, right? All of this ties together because the same demons who created the carbon panic are now targeting farmers. I mean, all around the world at the same time. The Dutch government is shutting down 3,000 farms to meet EU targets. British farmland is being converted to solar parks and tree plantations so corporations can trade carbon credits. In Denmark, farmers will be taxed 80 euros per cow. In the UK, farmers are literally being paid to not produce food. Meanwhile, Bill Gates has quietly become the largest private farmland owner in America while investing in lab-grown meat, insect protein, and patented crops. One farmer put it perfectly: if you remove the livestock from the system, you have no system. But that's the point. The The goal is to destroy self-sufficient farming and replace it with a corporate food grid where every calorie is engineered, patented, and rationed. All of it is wrapped in the climate lie. CO2, the gas that makes plants grow, has been turned into the new devil. Never mind that satellite data shows about 1.5 degrees of warming per century, something Earth has seen many times before. Never mind that CO2 lags behind temperature by hundreds of years, not the other way around. Never mind that the Earth is 14% greener today than 40 years ago because of higher CO2. The narrative was manufactured decades ago by Maurice Strong and the Club of Rome. Their own documents admitted they needed a new enemy to unite the world, so they picked pollution, famine, and global warming. The real enemy is humanity itself, and that's the ideology driving every single policy today. Anti-humanism disguised as saving the planet. From the WEF to WHO, globalist organizations that no one voted for are dictating the rules. The WHO, pandemic profiteering machine, that's what it is. COVID was the beta test, and it showed their own formula. They declare an emergency, enforce lockdowns, funnel trillions of dollars to big pharma, and crush small businesses. Now they're pushing a global pandemic treaty and One Health, in quotes, plan that puts climate, animals, plants, and ecosystems under their jurisdiction. In other words, total authority over life itself. And who funds the WHO? Gates, Gavi, and Pharma. 84% of its budget is voluntary donations, end quote, from those exact players. That's a cartel, not a health organization. And when you tie it all together, the WEF's stakeholder capitalism, the UN's Agenda 2030, the ESG scores for companies that Larry Fink said will force behavior change, the WHO's treaties as well, the BlackRock investment strategies, and you've got one system, a digital technocracy designed to control food, energy, money, and people. And it's openly anti-human. They're teaching kids their very existence is a burden. They're pushing population collapse as a climate solution. They're openly talking about AI replacing workers and keeping people pacified with drugs and computer games. And the final piece here is transhumanism, merging your body with their technology so you can be monitored, modified, and monetized from the inside out. So yes, Klaus Schwab gets a wrist slap and Larry Fink buys up half of Mexico, but behind the headlines is a much darker truth. These men are just the salesmen for a project that's been a century in the making. A project where you will own nothing, eat patented food, use rationed energy, live in a surveillance city, and be told to thank them for the privilege. And the only way it stops is if enough people see through the theater and call it what it is, a war on humanity itself. And just how totalitarian are these digital slavery systems like Oracle and Palantir? Well, many of the people hired to work on them had to walk away, warning the public that what's coming is worse than hell. Truly a mark of the beast system. Their number one priority isn't innovation, it's setting up a totalitarian control grid. 13 former Palantir employees just went public, admitting they signed on thinking they were protecting the vulnerable, only to realize they were helping build the ultimate surveillance dragnet. The $30 million deal with Trump's ICE was the final straw. Real-time tracking of migrants today, and tomorrow, it's anyone who steps out of line. Dissidents, journalists, and even you. Palantir isn't just some nerdy data firm. Their software already feeds the Pentagon, the IDF, and other corporate giants. Alex Karp, their CEO, openly brags that his tools are used to kill enemies, then cracks sick jokes about spraying critics with fentanyl-laced piss. That's who's in charge of the machine being handed to governments to erase rights and rewrite reality. The people who actually coded this nightmare are warning us. They said flat out that Palantir and its Silicon Valley allies are normalizing authoritarianism under the cover of AI revolutions. And now you've got Oracle on the other end building the biometric databases that feed it all. One company watches every move you make, the other makes sure your body is locked in the system. Together, it's the cage. This has nothing to do with safety. This is about creating a techno-police state, and the very workers who built it are saying so themselves. Whoever ignores these warnings deserves to wake up in chains. Peter Thiel, the billionaire co-founder of Palantir, the surveillance dragnet software now embedded in the Pentagon, CIA, NHS, IDF, and half the world's biometric databases, is holding private, off-the-record lectures about the biblical Antichrist. You heard that right. The same man funding predictive policing, facial recognition, and vaccine tracking systems is suddenly holding lectures about the mark of the beast. Just a few months ago, I shared clips here with Peter Thiel on an interview being told about this mark of the beast system he's installing. The interviewer said, "Isn't it kind of weird that you're talking about the mark of the beast, the Antichrist, you're warning about it, yet you're installing that exact system?" Peter Thiel was shocked. He didn't have much to say. He stood there in silence for about 10 seconds before he could respond. And now, lectures about the Antichrist? Thiel isn't doing Sunday school here, people. Notice how his talks are framed as anchored on science and technology while commenting on the theology, history, literature, and politics of the Antichrist. In other words, he's mapping biblical prophecy directly onto the world he's building through Palantir. It's not about warning people. It's about justifying and intellectualizing the rollout of a techno-religious control system. Look at the thinkers he cites. Rene Girard, sacrifice and scapegoat theory, Francis Bacon, the father of technocracy, and John Henry Newman, Catholic authority and obedience. That's not a Bible study reading list. That's a playbook for merging authoritarian politics, surveillance technology, and normalizing the Antichrist. And the crazy part is he's saying these lectures will be off the record. Why is that? Because when Thiel is openly speaking about the Antichrist, it's not meant for the public. It's for the insiders, for initiates, for the very people he's recruiting into the coming digital ID CBDC beast system. Palantir already functions like the nervous system of the worldwide digital surveillance state, feeding real-time data into governments, armies, and corporations. Now the man behind it is positioning himself as the theologian of the Antichrist. He's not warning you, he's signaling to his circle that the infrastructure of prophecy is in place. And here's the craziest part of all, these lectures are off the record. That means no recordings, no quoting, no media coverage. What's said in that room is supposed to stay in that room. Highly unusual. I mean, public intellectuals and even billionaires love to show off their ideas on stage or even in books. These people love attention and making the headlines, but Peter Thiel wants total secrecy. If he was just giving harmless talks, then why lock the doors and ban the recordings? Why make sure only a chosen few hear it? That's not a lecture, people. That's initiation. Peter Thiel knows people are catching on to his mark of the beast Antichrist system. So instead of dodging it, he's leaning into it. He's trying to normalize the Antichrist system, dressing it up to make it look appealing. Entire lectures dedicated to presenting a futuristic Antichrist system as something, futuristic and cool. He's not preaching against the beast grid. He's trying to rebrand it. And if you think a different puppet in office changes that, it doesn't, okay? Every puppet is a new facelift that carries on the exact same agenda. I mean, look at Trump back in Saudi Arabia. Remember this a few months back? The headlines were Trump brings BlackRock CEO Larry Fink to meet MBS as Trump set to seal $1 trillion deal. That's a supposed outsider walking hand in hand with the same parasite bankrupting entire sectors of the economy and swooping in to buy it back. Why was Larry Fink there when Trump was making this $1 trillion deal with Saudi Arabia? Could it be Larry Fink, aka the Finkelstein, was really behind this deal? It even said they had a secret side conversation here, okay? That's what the title said. Brought Larry Fink for a secret side conversation. I wonder what that was about. Oh, and fun fact here, check this headline. Saudi royal family are descendants of Jews who fought Muhammad, said the Iranian general. How crazy is that? Yeah, real weird stuff, people. And just ask yourself, if these parasites are already wiring up the mark of the beast system, do you really think they don't know there's going to be pushback? blowback when the system is fully installed. People aren't just going to roll over when their bank accounts get switched off and their kids are told they need a digital ID to eat, which is why, yeah, this one is a big shocker here. The Pentagon is drawing up blueprints for quick reaction forces to smash civil unrest the minute it sparks. Yeah, leaked docs show they want 600 National Guard troops on constant standby, split between Alabama and Arizona, ready to drop into any city in America within an hour. Fully armed, fully geared, around the clock. Doesn't matter if crime is down, doesn't matter if protests are quiet. They're building the muscle for when the digital cage clicks shut and millions of people suddenly realize what's happened. So don't buy the BS about this is just about protecting federal property or ensuring public safety. They even bring up George Floyd riots. Oh, don't worry, this new National Guard is to prevent Antifa riots. Yeah, this isn't about safety, folks. This is about pre-crime planning. They're not prepping for today. They're prepping for the day you say no, the day the beast system goes live, and half the country wakes up furious. Keep in mind the quote from Henry Ford. It is well enough that the people of the nation do not understand our banking and monetary system. For if they did, I believe there would be a revolution before tomorrow morning. Now, that's exactly what's happening here. When people's bank accounts are wiped clean, when people realize this is an entire fraud system of debt money system that requires constant printing, inflation is through the roof, people are going to be pissed. And the solution is going to be total digital slavery with CBDCs. Yeah, they're going to need National Guards on every corner when that system is announced. They're prepping for the day you say no. The day the beast system goes live and half the country wakes up furious. That's when these new task forces roll out. And crazy to watch so many on the right say this is great news. Do you notice how it works? No more Antifa riots, thank God. It will quickly turn into National Guard sent to your home because of anti-Semitism, or even troops sent to your home because you were refusing to keep on that mandated wearable that RFK Jr. told you to wear, okay? After all, people are allegedly testing positive for the plague now, you know. Things could change real quick, and you heard that right, ladies and gentlemen. The plague is back, which means they're poisoning the wells again. Those damn Yuval Noah Hararis. You know what? That's what I'm going to call them now. Those damn Yuvals. Because this is just bonkers right here. Americans are now testing positive for the plague. Health officials just confirmed a case of the actual plague in South Lake Tahoe, California. In 2025, first it was rare viruses, then mystery outbreaks. Now the plague is back in America. So this one post says here on X. On top of that, they're still pushing the Chikungunya nonsense. Once again, you want to know what's coming? Take a look at China, okay? Look at a few videos right here. This is what's taking place in China right now over the chikungunya. One video here, the Chinese people have to register themselves for chikungunya virus test by scanning a government QR code. China doesn't have a chikungunya vaccine yet. I am afraid that soon a new vaccine passport will come out if the chikungunya vaccine is available in China. As you can see here, it's total insanity, and you understand that, yes, they want to roll out this